So this is going to be the first video I post on this channel. This is just the starting of a build I'm planning on doing to this bike. I've owned this bike for pretty much its entire life, and so I've just started to do stuff to it. And it used to be our hunting bike. Well, we're still going to use it for hunting, but I'm going to make it more mud oriented. So we're probably going to keep the ITP mud lights that we have on it right now. They're a 25-inch tire. I'm going to be looking for a set of 27 or 28-inch assassinators or something along the lines of that. They're assassinators, Mudzillas, or silverbacks I'm looking at. I'm also looking at a set of gaiters that my buddy's uncle has, that he used to have on his Rennie, but then he ended up putting a lift kit on it. Now he's running 32-inch assassinators. Those things are crazy wicked tall, and they have giant lugs on them. I've noticed with these things, they like to fill up with mud when I ride. I feel like the lugs aren't tall enough, and the spacing is just poor. They're perfect for trail riding and stuff, but other than that, it's just not a good tire. So I'll go on to what I've done to it. Mechanically, pretty much nothing. Rejet and what else? The stock resonator. All I've done to it, well, the buddy who I'm not the first owner, I'm the second owner of it, but the bolt that he had put into the carbon drainage bolt or whatever it is was standard when it should have been a metric bolt, so it stripped this hole out. So now I can no longer put a bolt in there unless I tap it and throw a different size bolt in it, which I'm kind of too lazy to do that, so just sit like that for now. I just ordered a new muffler for it, so I'll be posting when I get that. I also drilled a hole in the back of the resonator just through the first baffling, just to give it a little bit more brap. Make it sound a little better too, because this thing sounds pretty gutless when there's nothing done to it. It's pretty loud now. We decibel read it at 98 decibels, so it's not stupid loud, but it's still a pretty loud quad. And I just got this Moose utility rack, like quad box or whatever, that I have this Logitech freaking soundboard put onto. I open this thing up and plaster liquid electrical tape all of it, so it's completely waterproof, and I use this for trail riding and mud and whatnot. It has a 2,000-pound Polaris winch on the front. I ended up buying it without any hardware, so I had to rig up all the things for it myself, and I actually rigged up the entire thing for only $12. It was $6 for all this wiring that I got for it, and $6 for this switch that I have inside the hole, and it's barely out of there, but it won't get hit by branches and crap. I was just worried about if I have it up here. It's a toggle switch, so it's not like you push it and it comes back. It's just one way, and then you'd have to flick it either way. So I drilled out this hole and put it in there, and it works good. I'll show you guys real quick. Yeah, and it just, she works good. I mean, yeah, and I built this bumper myself, just out of, I think, 1.5-inch aluminum tube, or maybe 1 1/4-inch aluminum tube. Ignore this. This is my mess up. Well, I needed to make them symmetrical, so, well, what I did is that this was just flat, and I welded this up first. And what I did, I welded this piece up first, these two, so I can join them. And with this, I cut triangles out of it, and then I bent it, but I cut this triangle way too large. And what I had to do was use some of the access I had from this and weld it over top of it. And it turned out kind of junky. I'm gonna grind this down and flatten it out. I just made the bumper probably a couple weeks ago, and this is the one I did actually correct. I haven't ground down these welds either, but these welds are a lot better than the other ones. I just need to touch up that right there. There's a bit of a hole right there, but everything else, the welds are super nice on this thing. I mean, for a 15-year-old. yeah, I just built up some Fairlead brackets right here, and this is where the Fairlead's mounted right now. And yeah, I have dual 6 LED light bars, one up there on the pod, and then one down here. I have them wired into my high beams, so I'll give you guys I'll show you guys how that works. There's my low, and then there's high. That's stock LED or stock bulbs and the bottom ones, and then it's just I use those things for night riding and whatnot. And this right here is a Gorilla Axles Rad Relocate from a Kawasaki or a Yamaha Grizzly. I bought it off of someone who was selling it on Craigslist. So yeah, I had to rig it up to work for my oil cooler that I got for it, because I almost had my oil cooler punched out last time I was riding, because they have a shroud that's under there, but the spacing's a little big, and you can see right there those two are bent apart. I had a stick go up into it, and it was probably about this thick around, tapered to the end, and if that thing would have went through, I would have probably punctured my oil cooler. That wouldn't have been a good sight, especially because I was mudding and whatnot, so I wouldn't have been able to know. So what I did is, this right here is 5/8 brake line, or like air brake hose from a semi truck, and this right here is 1/2 inch to 3/8 inlet. What's it called? Fuel line hose. And the reason why I have 5/8 up there and 1/2 inch fuel line down here is because that's what it was run from factory. It went from this to a reducer, so I replaced this entire line. You guys can barely see. I replaced that line all the way from where the outlet is all the way up to it, and the other one I just extended. I did it properly and extended all these wires up to it. This is the temp sensor, and this is the power cord to the fan. And yeah. Oh, and for a bar setup, I got Pro Taper anodized blue, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, bars, and Pro Taper grips. Then I have some cheap hand guards. They kind of work, I mean, they look good. And this one, if you wonder why the zip tie's hanging on to it, because the bracket wasn't long enough. So when I tightened it up, I actually ended up breaking this, so I just tightened it up the best I could and ended up hitting a branch when I was riding and kind of gave it its final blow. And yeah, so all I did is zip tie it on and then tighten this thing back and drill a new hole further back into it so it's more kind of canted. And then I zip tied it just for safe, like just to be safe. Yeah, and this right here is my mud strap that I built for it. It's just a snap and hookers bungee cord that I actually have wrapped into there, and I use this thing for when I'm mudding just to shift the weight over. And I extended the shifter right here with well, fitted a pipe up into it, and then I basically glued it onto this with what's it called, like an all-purpose epoxy, and then I wrapped it with electrical tape because it was a a silver pipe, and I glued it on before I painted it, and I didn't feel like masking everything off. And the reason why there's clear tape down there is just to hold it on, just in case it does break loose. It's not going to pop off. I can just re-glue it. And then this is just a factory grip from my brother's Lin High that he has over there. And yeah, and I extended it up quite a bit because mine and his quads have the same length shifter, and it ends right about at this plastic point, and these have the exact same plastics. Actually, this is a China-made quad, and they have the same plastics. This one ends about there on it, and well, mine ends over it. So when I'm standing up on the bike, when I'm in deeper stuff, because usually I'll have my foot up on the seat so I don't get completely drenched, it's easier to shift and whatnot. So yeah, upcoming plans for this bike are going to be obviously new tires, maybe a 2-inch bracket, or bracket lift, or like shock lift. So just put spacers in the shocks, front and back. It's a solid axle rear and an independent front. And then I'm gonna snorkel it. Just put one tranny snorkel, like for the tranny breather. Relocate all the vent lines up to there, and a couple airbox ones. So I'm gonna be running 3 snorkels to the airbox, 1 to there. Probably 1.5 inch pipe. Oh yeah, and obviously the muffler that's coming in, that'll be in hopefully on Saturday. Trying to think, probably an axle paddle I'm thinking of putting on this side, because this side doesn't have brakes on that side, and it'd be easy to put a wheel paddle right there, a longer wheel paddle. That'd probably work out pretty good. And that's pretty much it for now. I mean, I'm thinking of putting a clutch kit in, bigger clutch spring, and doing a little bit of stuff like that to it, but it still has some get up. I'm not a small dude either. I'm about 5'10", 180 something pounds. The thing moves me pretty good, so yeah. It's just that the tires kind of hold it back, and I do beat the crap out of this thing. I've rolled it, I don't know, 2-3 times. First time I rolled it, I cracked the rack up to there. And then the second time I rolled it, I broke the bars. And then I tipped it once, like just on its side. And it was just all me being stupid going up hills. I thought I could go up, but I couldn't. And, well, that's pretty much all I have to tell you guys about this bike. It's a good little bike. I'm thinking of just building it up a little bit and seeing how she takes the abuse, but yeah. So if you guys like this, comment down below what you guys got for a bike. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.